Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning into this video. Preparing against the collapse of the dollar is a topic I don't think we speak enough about. It's almost as if people try to sweep it under the rug and pretend it's not happening. But the truth is, it's not if, but when and what are you doing about it? So this subject was brought to light from a video I was watching on a channel called Real Vision Finance from a guy named Raul Paul, talking about the upcoming recession, the reality we're facing in the economy. I definitely recommend the video. I'll link it in the description. I also recommend that channel. They are really informative and insightful and just bring awareness to the reality, what's really going on in the world, and also some alternatives. So I definitely recommend checking that out. I know this topic can scare a lot of people and it's definitely a lot to take in, but instead of pretending everything's just going to magically work out, let's talk about some solutions. Precious metals have been traded for a monetary value for over 6,000 years, much longer than any fiat-based system. Actually, the dollar has never succeeded in any society whatsoever, causing inflation rates, pumping useless dollars into a society with massive debt. The worst part is we're trying to get ourselves out of debt by creating more debt. That's like paying off a credit card with another credit card. So why precious metals? See, gold and silver have intrinsic value, meaning no matter the dollar cost of the coins themselves are the value. Also mentioning the several hundred uses gold and silver have in the industrial, technological, and medical world, being the most highly conductive metal for thermal conductivity and electricity, that's huge roles not only for big business but also consumers as well. We need silver and more of it. Looking at the technological advancement we're heading in shows the demand isn't slowing down anytime soon. There is no solution to our financial crisis, but all there is the alternatives we have on the table. Donald Trump jokingly mentioned bringing back the gold standard, but obviously we're too deep in a hole to fix this problem, so something needs to change. Regardless if there's a solution or not, our best alternative is precious metals to transfer your wealth into something with intrinsic value as the dollar is losing its purchasing power. I think this situation is much more extreme than people are aware of. Some countries weigh their money on scales and carry their money in trash bags because their dollar is so deflated. It's been pumped into the system and has the purchasing power of a penny. So to buy something that's $2, it would take too long to count out all those bills, so they weigh their money instead. This is not far from where the US is, or even other richer countries. This isn't just foreign third world countries we're talking about. Every single system, financial system, that is basing, their monetary system from a fiat value, where it's inflation versus the dollar versus, banks versus a centralized currency or central bank currency, is never going to work. Something needs to change. Like I said, there is no solution, but we can use gold and silver as an alternative. Transferring your wealth into precious metals is like putting your money into a time capsule. Let's say you have $10,000 in a bank account and leave that $10,000 in that account for 10 years. And then another person takes that $10,000 out of their bank account and puts it in precious metals. In 10 years, the person that has their money in the bank account, their purchasing power will have drastically depreciated in that 10 years of what they can purchase with that money. But the person that is invested in the precious metals in 10 years not only has all of the value that still comes along with the metal content, but also a chance that the metal has appreciated in value as well. It's a preservation against the dollar collapsing. A 50-cent half dollar back in 1950 could buy you a gallon of gas. That 50-cent half dollar today can still buy you a gallon of gas. Not the face value back in 1950, the face value of the coin could. 50 cents could have bought you a gallon of gas. Nowadays, the face value of that coin can't, but the metal inside of it. You could take that Walking Liberty 50-cent half dollar to the coin shop, sell it for $7, $8, and fill your tank. That's the mind state I'm trying to get everyone to understand we're in. Gold and silver always historically have value, whether it's face value or the intrinsic value of the metal inside of it. If you can understand this, then you're much better off than most people. Silver is real money. Actually, man has always seen silver as a form of money, as a form of tradable currency. Since biblical times, Egyptians saw it as magical equivalent to gold because the way it reacted with other metals and other, elements. and it always has been used as a means of trade. So when we're talking about all this, we're talking about recessions, hyperinflation, the dollar losing its purchasing power. This stuff isn't, this isn't put on your tinfoil hat and throw some conspiracy theories out there. This is real stuff. If you go to usdebtclock.org, it shows a live counter of how many trillions of dollars in debt we are. The number is around $24 trillion in debt. This is not something that's speculative, that, some type of conspiracy theory. This is real life. It's just people don't want to acknowledge it. And I think if they didn't acknowledge it, I feel that they wouldn't be able to cope. So a lot of people just try to pretend that we're in La La Land or some fantasy land. Now, people really don't trust the banks to the rate or the extent I think they do. And you know why? It's because anytime there's economic instability or insecurity or anything that's going on, whether it's a tragic event, a natural disaster, whatever the case is, political views, people always turn towards precious metals during these times. So it's almost like they know when an extreme factor is at stake, they know when to transfer their money into a safe investment like precious metals. But when things are going fine, it's almost like they trust the banks, they trust the government again. But it's just ironic that every time gold and silver shoots up is when there's something going on in the economy causing economic scare. If these people would transfer that mind state to the day to day and understand the severity of it, regardless if there's a tragic event or not, I think the economy would be in a much better space. The bad thing about precious metals is that, or I guess the bad thing about people that don't invest in precious metals is that they're not understanding the whole point of it. They can't just look at spot price being $17 and say, "Oh, silver $17. I've only, if I would have bought it at 16.50, I would only make 50 cents." It's not from a fiat currency standpoint. Spot price to the dollar is contradicting to what the whole point of silver is about. That's more for like stocks and ETFs and options markets and futures contracts from a dollar standpoint. The whole point of gold and silver is to detach your stigma, detach the whole value from the dollar, because its real value is inside the coins themselves. A 1 ounce silver coin is always going to have 1 ounce of silver in it, regardless of who says the dollar amount of that silver coin is worth. That's the whole point. That's why I've also mentioned in the past, I think spot price is irrelevant, is because I'm not trying to stereotype or put, that type of focus in silver's value. It's the metal content that's inside of the coin itself. Now, I don't think that silver is needed just to be in a recessive state or when the economy's in a downfall. Gold and silver is needed regardless of what the dollar's doing, how strong it is, what's happening in the economy. It teaches you how to budget. It's needed in industrial uses at stakes or rates never before seen. The gold to silver ratio is a perfect indicator on the reality, how undervalued silver is, where it's headed, and also how much potential it has. If you look at the historical ratios of gold and silver, it's around 40 to 1. Right now, we've seen all-time highs this year around 95 to 1. Right now, it is correcting a little bit, but it still is extremely high. This means that silver has to either appreciate in value or gold has to depreciate in value. And 9 times out of 10 it's going to be silver appreciating. So this is really important stuff to look at, especially when we're looking at stock market volatility, what's happening in the economy. Media is finally covering it. Gold broke past that $1,400 resistance that it was holding at for so long. Now it's finally above $1,500. Silver finally broke past that $16.75 resistance point. Now it's above $17. There are some key indicators, some key points on the chart we have to stay, or keep an eye on, whether it's, the $15 resistance level of silver or that $1,450 resistance level with gold. But regardless, precious metals are a great, safe investment that anyone can do, and I definitely recommend it. Now, when it comes to becoming a stacker, you don't want to jump in feet first. Fiat currency is still the most liquid asset. You can't pay your bills in silver. If you need a medical emergency, you can't pay those bills in silver and gold. So you still do need fiat currency. It's just, we need to start transferring some of our wealth over to something that holds its value. no pun intended, but holds its weight. This is something that's really important, and I cannot stress it enough. I've made videos on where to buy from, how to buy, what types of coins to buy, which direction you want to stack, how to sell your silver, all of it. And hopefully I can make this journey easier for you to finally get your feet in the water, because it's definitely something that I think everyone needs to at least be aware of. As long as I can plant that seed, to plant that seed in your mind, that you're at least because if you don't even know what's going on in the economy, if you don't even know how bad of a situation you're in, then you don't even have an option. You don't even have a choice to invest or to find some type of balance or financial freedom in your life. And I want people to at least have the option. So anyways, I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you're new. I post daily videos. I'm curious what you guys think about this topic. I know it's a little deep. I know it can be a little scary, but this is the reality we're in, and I definitely need to keep bringing this stuff up and bringing it to the surface. So make sure you like these videos. Make sure you support these channels. Go check out Real Vision Finance. That's stuff that we need to educate ourselves on and bring to the light. This stuff is important stuff, and I don't think enough people are aware of it. And that's a really scary thing, especially because it's coming sooner than later. It's happening at a very rapid pace, and I don't think a lot of us understand how fast, things can change. So anyways, thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I will see you guys soon. Peace.